Okay, sound speed, rolling. There we go. You see, you said clap 3 times. It's
yeah.
Okay, so which fucking camera's mine? It's that one, right? So, welcome to the Horseboarding UK podcast. The podcast all about the sport of horseboarding and the people that are involved. If you don't know what the sport of horseboarding is, where the fuck have you been? Because it's been going on for a while. It's a sport where you have a horse rider, attached to the saddle is a rope, and at the end of the rope there's a guy or girl on an off-road skateboard, and they go as fast as they can around a twisting, turning course on grass or sand in, like, say, the O2 Arena in Prague. You know about that, Aidan? Oh, you wouldn't? Sorry, just to dig into that. Oh, Denmark.
Literally within 5 minutes and I've just been attacked. With the intro.
So,
we know who Aidan is.
Joined on this podcast, what a great start, is myself, Thomas Kilroy, Daniel Fowler Prime, the brainchild of the sport. I have Aidan Beamish, who wasn't in Prague. Well, he was in Prague, but he wasn't boarding.
I think
just
Thomas
got to
took the wrong
watch.
camera.
I don't know which camera I'm looking at.
You're over there, Tom.
That one, great. It's starting up. We're
The one that's actually looking at you.
Yeah, that one.
Beer 2.
It's not even on beer 2.
Breakdown.
And Anne-Marie Fowler Prime as well, who does everything in our sound box and just is awesome. So
And it's worth noting, actually, coming out, this whole adventure where we are now originally started from us turning a TV off, if you remember, in Arkwright Street.
Yeah.
We got into a phase when we were living together, I don't know, we were in our early 20s.
Yeah, 21, 22.
And we had this whole thing where we were just watching rubbish on TV.
Well, Magnum PI was not
Well,
rubbish.
Magnum PI was not rubbish, and that we used to watch that an awful lot. And recently I've started watching it again. But we were also watching absolute rubbish, and obviously we didn't have the internet in the same way that you have now with all streaming and all that sort of thing.
Back in my day,
we'd only 24 had only just been released. It was
still me.
And we tried
Power Hour 24
Yeah.
in between working.
and trying to do the whole series in a day and all that sort of thing. Anyway, we were just wasting an awful lot of time, and we decided that we were going to turn off the TV. And we were just going to turn it on when we wanted to watch something. And what that led to is, apart from
Sounds crazy now.
it sounds crazy now, but that's what we decided. That's what we were going to do. And what that led to was a couple of things. One was Goldschlager nights, where we just drank Goldschlager.
Instead of watching telly, we just drank Goldschlager.
yeah. And then that led to conversations, which led to the idea of me doing demos, and Anne-Marie decided she wanted to work with me on doing educational demos and making brochures up to try and sell to colleges, which we did a little bit of, and there's a whole story behind that, which
I mean, it's been a journey. To say the least, yeah.
But my whole point is that without that, we
Now
wouldn't be
you turn
here.
off the telly.
No, but no,
Kids,
and
turn off the telly.
Well,
Yeah,
we were
turn off the
creative
telly.
though, we were creative. We were thinking, and we had a very strong conversation about what happened in Prague, if I'm honest with you. There was a conversation about having a show, and we were talking about rearing horses either side of the entrance, and that was Prague. I mean, I pinched myself when the lights came on. I was like, wow, this is literally the vision.
Yeah.
So I think it's just Prague was unbelievable for that, wasn't it? For that realisation of how full circling, but also how long ago that was. You know, you are talking 20 years worth of development.
But from that idea of let's do demonstrations, how do we make this work?
Yeah.
So I remember you were trying to get me to do trick riding shows and jousting shows. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because that's what everyone else does, and please I don't. Plus, also at the time it wasn't. Now it's a lot more acceptable for people to set up their own teams and stuff. Then it really wasn't. It was very, very controlled, and but I wanted to do something different. And during those conversations, when we came up with the the educational demo, which developed into the extreme sports idea of the trick riding,
Extreme horseboarding
which developed into horse surfing, which develops into where we are now and all the things that we've achieved. So the introduction really saying that you working the DJ booth doesn't take into account that actually this is
Was all
both
of
of
this
our
just to
creation.
say that she's more than just a DJ?
No, it was to give a bit to give some context,
Some
to,
gravitas.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the committee, obviously, so there's just and horseboarding
You're
is
just part of Horseboarding, aren't you?
Well, I think so.
cogs that make the wheel go round.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's interesting when you think back of all the significant shifts, even in the rules, in the layout. I mean, again, when we think about putting the poles in, you know, putting the balls on top of the poles, these are all conversations that were had with us.
Yeah,
This
I
isn't
remember
like
that,
a
'cause we
wider
were-
audience of people coming up with this. Like, these things slowly evolved because we realised the arena didn't look quite right, and we wanted it to have more of a course feel because we were using cones, I think, at the time. We hadn't got.
Or we used electric fence posts originally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with no way of telling if it had been
I
touched
remember
or not.
the first cones on the Wii were about this big.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think I'd been watching some sort of ski something, and we've been talking about it, and Laura was about at the time, like, you know, there was conversations, but these are things that slowly took form to what we are today and what we were able to pull off in Prague with you know, I don't think it's taken time to get there, and that's more the point.
Yeah.
What a journey just putting balls on cones were. Like, we used to have people at either end of the weave watching for a touch, like a slight
Yeah.
wobble, and then we just went, put cones on it? Put balls on the
It
cones?
was on progressive though, because you know, the poles that we now use are ski poles, right? So
Well, no, they're football poles. They're poles for
training.
to
because we were talking about flexibility.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and originally they had springs in, but of course, as soon as there's a blow of wind, they were bending over, and we were putting gaffer tape around the bottom of them to try and make them more rigid before we could have even afford the cones.
Yeah.
This was like originally we had electric fence posts with bits of bunting around them, like, because we couldn't afford anything else. And then we went to a point of trying to develop with these poles. And I remember, I don't know, were you with me? I mean, we got all the different, because the different colours of poles had different spring resistance in them.
Yeah.
And we were wrapping certain amounts of gaffer tape around each one and putting them in the field and sitting and watching them in the wind and trying to see how much gaffer tape, because they weren't all the uniform coloured, you came in a pack and you got all the different colours, and it was just you know, chaotic and
And
messy.
it looked that way as well. And then we talked about changing the colours, so that was a sort of evolving
For
as
the
well.
difficulty of the corners.
But for sight, because we had conversations about the sight of the horse rider, and there was a conversation about the sight of the horse rider anyway years ago, and it ended up that we were, and I think I said to you, I'd like one colour on one side and then another colour on the other aesthetically.
So you knew what with the inside and the outside of the corner was.
Yeah.
It was trying to explain it more to the audience. I mean, the thing is, typically we overcomplicate an awful lot of stuff. And I
Well,
remember
with the balls, we were coming up with light systems.
Yeah,
that
I
if we
was
got to touch it, it'd blink on lights.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm pretty sure I suggested balls. I will
Yeah.
be totally honest.
So yeah,
Yes,
every good
everyone
idea is yours.
wants to
I'm not sure I listened to you.
Aiden's got
I'm
the
not being funny, I've
balls.
just been sitting here just being like, I don't know whether to mention this, but I'm pretty sure.
But to be,
Like, I'm pretty
So you were in it as well.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
to be fair to you, you were one of the main people in the new harness system. You were like, why don't you just do it like this? After
Oh, yeah.
we've been going through Dead Man's Handle
Yeah, yeah.
releases and all sorts, and
I
you went,
remember that
just
was
attach it to the rider.
Where was the competition?
Everybody's trying to jump in and take credit.
I spent a winter working out how
Do you
we
remember
could
Thorsby?
make it.
It was Thorsby Park, yeah.
Thorsby, and all the Dead Man's Handle kept failing.
Yeah, because everyone was doing it too short.
No, they did it the wrong way up. This
Right,
is what conversation.
okay,
So
okay.
you had a council, it's not council,
Committee.
committee meeting, tried to work out what was up with it, and then somebody went, "Where's Aidan?" And I got pulled into a tent somewhere, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What am I doing?" And they're like, "Look at this," and I was like, "Oh, it's the wrong way up."
But then
Yeah,
that's
yeah. But sorry. So I thought you were talking about the original design.
Oh
of
no,
it.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
No, just working out how it actually works.
But then that's
Why
when we
it was wrong.
asked for a border spokesperson and a horse rider spokesperson to come in, so that was an
Yeah.
evolving
Yeah.
stage as well, where we realised that, you know, we have to include the competitors to give us good balance on if it's working or not.
Well, it's the feedback, isn't it? I suppose
Yeah.
you come up with a design, but you only know.
It's your nondescript
You
beer.
It's alright, they're talking, they're not looking at me.
No.
I'm out of shot.
Yeah, you only know from using things. So like you can design something, and then until you use it, you don't know how it's going to respond or react to what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, so we
That is
are
a lot of heads.
seven and 8 minutes.
Listen, this is a nice conversation.
No.
We're just talking about other stuff.
We're 8 minutes in.
We've got a 15-minute mark.
We've got
15 minutes.
Well, no.
Tom's on his 15-minute
No,
marker.
I was just
15 minutes.
gonna say we're now at round 3 because we haven't told anyone where we are.
Hi.
I was enjoying it.
Shut down memory lane there.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I think we can talk about that.
Is this what happens in your later years? Do you just start
Reminiscing.
reminiscing?
Yeah, it's the way it makes me feel young. No, but I just think I think that's an interesting conversation in which it shows how those developments happen
And progression happens.
Yeah.
How you do progress, and also being open to progression.
But
And
as
to
you
making
said,
things better, which is all that we're striving
with
for.
the rules. Like, the rules are ever changing because you're always learning new things. New things happen all the time that you just wouldn't even imagine.
Well, again, the very first set of rules was about 13. The first
Now
time,
a book.
the 2 books.
Now a
The
bloody
first
book.
time, the first time that we did,
Oh, God.
Tom, you were part of that first competition in
Don't
Uxbridge.
die. Don't kill the horse.
Yeah, no,
Try and stay on the horse.
But it was we had this competition. I think we had 6 teams. I called up all my sort of stunt teammates. So Martin Wild was there, Aaron Topham was there. We dragged in horses from different places.
We're drag racing as well.
Yeah, we were drag racing,
Yeah.
and we had these rules to sort of lay out, but we didn't know anything, like literally. And in all fairness, and I'm going to give this credit, should I remember the chap's name now, but this idea was, because originally I wanted to do a horse surfing competition, and I was going to do
How would
that.
you do that? Because the thing with horse surfing is you're just going along a strip of beach.
We did it in we kind of did something like that in Skeggy, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really
Yeah.
a competition.
It was
See
a
how you-
complete. It was a complete.
I don't see how
the
you
idea. The
compete with
idea was behind the horse surfing was that you would have a start marker and an end marker,
Right.
and you had to negotiate well, not necessarily a course, just from that marker to that marker in the quickest time possible. The thing that you've got to deal with is how deep do you take your horse?
Yeah.
How long do you have your rope?
Yeah.
How shallow do you? Because the shallower you
So
are, the
similar
faster
to-
you are.
Similar to the drag style stuff.
Yeah. So you're gambling on catching sand, because like when you're on it and you're in a couple of inches of water, and all of a sudden you start feeling the sand underneath you. You're like, whoa. So you've got to kind of. There's an element of riding the waves. The thing is, it was chaos. It was chaos. Now I'd had a conversation with, I forget the chap's name right now, with a chap in France we'd done horse surfing. We'd been in press all around the world for doing it. We just took some photos as a publicity stunt, thanks to Extreme Sports Photo back then, when not everybody had a HD 4K camera in their pocket, and the gentleman had a business which was just going around the world taking photos of extreme sports. So
Good job to have it.
Yeah.
and that was literally all he was doing, and this is the early 2000s. Extreme sports were massive. It was just all about that. So I'd been put in touch with him through a stunt coordinator called Gary Connery, who I was working with on the Marchioness disaster. I mentioned that earlier on today. And he'd said, I told him about the idea of trick riding in the sea.
Yeah.
And he said, look, I'll put you in touch with this guy, he'll take some photos and he'll sell it to the press.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a kickback from doing that. So we set up this shoot on a beach in Cornwall to trick ride in the sea. You have to pull up those photos now.
Yeah, I know.
You
I was thinking about the editing.
you said, you remember when you used to follow on our horses? Yeah, you'll see some photos of me doing some trick riding in the sea.
It's a lot thinner.
No, absolutely. I absolutely was. So anyway,
That mic size.
yeah. Better looking now.
Oh, no, sure, mate. Maybe in the 2000s look with the slick back hair.
So anyway, the point
Brad
was.
Pitt hair.
Yeah, there
I've got a photo of that.
I'm on the beach.
Dan once came to my primary school as a Brad Pitt lookalike.
No.
I've got photos that I'm going to find them.
And Tommy's going to bring them up now.
Edit this thing out.
And he did not look like Brad Pitt.
This was one of the most embarrassing days of my life, and thank you, Mother, for setting that up. It was.
How did I know about this?
It was
I've
awful.
known you for so many years and I didn't know this had happened.
Funnily enough, I don't mention
I'm
it.
not really comfortable with this. I'm not really comfortable with it. In his purple shirt with his hair slicked back, not looking like Brad Pitt.
I will actually go on. I will actually take it.
You want to talk about where we are now?
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know why we're talking about all my history.
Oh.
I know I was bringing it up.
Well, I was thinking about actually what popped into my mind about Skegness was me and Laura going to that woman who had surf clothes, and we ended up doing a stall at Hartbury as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'd done my own t-shirts, but we also stocked it up, and we made this connection with somebody in Skegness who's associated to Dan and
It was the Skegness Extreme Sports Festival.
But so yeah,
There were so
so
many
she
of them back
she
then,
had
2000s, they were everywhere, right?
Yeah.
this lady who ran this sort of skate shop, like alternative skate shop. It just basically allowed me and Laura to go in and select any clothes that we wanted to then go and sell them
Amazing.
at a markup for her then to get returned. Then we took him on to Hartbury, and then don't know really what happened to that relationship, but we moved from water
Yeah,
into
my
land.
nondescript beer is over there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As these two are.
Can we just get it?
Would you mind?
So,
I'm
I'll
stuck.
pour it.
Okay.
It's mainly because you guys were talking, so we knew that in the edit
This one? No,
that
no.
it wouldn't be looking at us. So we were like, we can take on nondescript beer.
But the problem is there is also sound within this podcast. And the sound.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
So,
You can tell, everybody knows.
So just going back to Brad Pitt.
so I'd like to defend myself slightly on this.
No,
Okay.
you're not allowed. Right, on to, we are at Burghley this weekend.
Yeah, 15-minute changeover subject matter.
Yeah, we're at, it's about
I've got
15
7 seconds.
I think it's about done. I think the camera's about done. Sorry, Dan.
My mate went with him and he said I do look like did. I'm what he would look like if he drank as much beer as me.
Right, do you
Drink
check the
responsibly.
cameras?
Yeah. Look,
Okay.
look
Well,
at this, what he can
50-minute
do to
timer.
you.
A statement.
Ooh.
So we are now, right, we are 15 odd minutes
If you
in.
want to hear more about our history, then do comment below,
Do an
and
exclusive.
we will do a podcast purely on
We
how
go
we
year
got
by
here.
year on the history of
If you're watching this on Spotify, there will be a poll that will ask these questions. Does Dan look like Brad Pitt?
No.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
going to show
God.
the picture just
Oh
here
my
for
God.
you.
Like-
the picture is showing again how much does Dan look like Brad Pitt.
Okay, well, if you're going to show a picture of me when I was like 17, then there's a picture of me at 17
No, I think it
and
is-
Brad Pitt from Legend of the Fall.
Legends of the
Hang on,
Fall.
Dude, I'm sorry.
There was a
It happened.
spotlight
I cannot
moment.
tell you how many girls' bedrooms I've been in
There was
with
a-
bad light vision.
And now we're going to cut that bit from this edit.
That was-
Definitely cut that bit from this
Yeah,
edit.
very. I mean, it is true, annoyingly.
Wow.
Yeah, but Legends of the Fall, Daniel definitely.
When I was 17, I didn't know who he was.
Absolutely used Brad Pitt.
I didn't know who he was
As a
to start
means
with.
to-
Until my mum decided to take me to his fucking primary school as him.
Well,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
to say the teachers did swoon. I do remember the teachers swooning.
It was ridiculous. It was the most embarrassing thing, and that's why I should never have a mother as an agent.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, Tom, carrying on. Moving on.
So we're at round 3. After that, we're at Burghley House.
It's a good warm up.
Yeah, it was a good warm-up act.
Very warm.
Get us through.
Let's turn the aircon on.
Burghley, which is a great event. But round 2, just to wrap up, I didn't win the trophy.
I
Blues
wasn't
and
there.
Toulouse did. No, like Prague.
I was there. You've got this thing about Prague. You didn't race either.
No, but you know,
Both of the previous champs didn't race at Prague.
That is true.
So
You both had
shove a sock
cameos
in
in the
your
show,
mouth.
in the
Oh, well,
video.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You were handing a handle over, and you were.
I know I wasn't in the video.
You are in the video.
Yeah.
I'm not in the video.
In the
the
official
arena.
video.
Yeah.
The official video.
The arena.
The official, the
Saturday night
Longines
footage.
official video.
Oh, right.
You do appear.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I cut the video off. I didn't see that.
Giving Ross his handle back.
Yeah.
Oh, I gave Luke his back as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was right next to Luke when he went down, and I abandoned him because I thought he was going to get out of his board. And he got stuck because of the setup. But I just went for the rope and then turned around and he was still in his board. And I was like, oh no. So yeah, I didn't realise I was in that though.
But yeah, to round up the last round, because the third podcast we didn't go live or didn't go out. So basically, Boys and Twos won. I didn't. That was round 2.
It was wet.
Not bitter about it. Send It siblings out the advanced class won their advanced class. They did some amazing racing.
Yeah.
But now we are at round 3. Burghley, known for its ridge and furrow in the arena.
We have a new Burghley Cup.
There's a
Yes.
cup.
A new old Burghley Cup. So it's a new cup with all the old winners on it.
Burghley. So I'm on it then.
Oh,
Hey.
yes.
No, you scratch that
I mean,
out.
I know I won it. I've won it once.
2019.
Was it 19?
Yeah, with Chilkinston, I think.
No, I did Pocket Rocket. I won
Was
Pocket
it
Rocket once.
You
Yeah.
got a goal with Pocket
Whoa.
Rocket.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
I'm
And
certain we won one here, but it was the split. When we had this year with the split comps. We won here.
Oh, right.
That year when we had
Everybody
half
made
the
that same
teams
noise.
in the
Yeah,
show.
exactly. There was nobody else there.
I wasn't here, so
It was I think it was us and TNT that were really racing, and that was when TNT were in their heyday, and probably they were the ones that were challenging, because it was the year after we had got so close to Chilwinston.
3 points.
It was 3 points, and then the next year it was TNT came in, and they were right on their tail. It was that year, and we think essentially by winning probably wrecked it for them on the split.
Right.
So yeah, I know that we won here once.
Yeah.
We got complaints from that.
The split?
From the split, yeah.
Well, yeah,
so
it didn't work.
People,
It didn't work.
no,
It
not,
was
not
trying.
teams, from spectators that had come to Burghley to watch Dead Pigeon and Chill Winston and the like, and they were like, they're not here.
Yeah, there was complaints that basically said we didn't know that half the teams wouldn't be there.
We had gone to the other event.
Yeah, like, and actually that's
rude.
quite.
Pretty rude,
I think that's quite a good complaint. Of all the complaints to get,
Oh, we don't like Pocket Rocket on TNT.
We didn't realise it.
Thanks.
I wanted to watch. Yeah, Dead Pigeons win.
Wanted to watch actual teams race.
So that season you had CID won it.
They won in,
Which shows
in that
quite
event,
how weird
the
that
split.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the arena.
But the arena
so
was
small.
tiny. Yeah. And it was that the arenas on the other side of the Living Heritage was Quintessential Events, which I think have changed their name to Country
and
Shows.
they had that arsehole. What was his name?
I never went to one of the others. I really went
I'm not sure you want to.
Say
you really
that.
want to continue?
No, let's cut that
I
there.
don't know if you want to.
I think let's cut that there.
No, I'm gonna say it. You don't have to agree, but like, what was his name?
No, maybe don't say his name and let's leave it there. As a case of law.
Dan's weighing it up.
As a case of law.
I'm not saying his show is bad.
As a case of law, let's not.
I'm allowed to voice my
Because-
opinion, say he's an arsehole, right?
Not on a public
No, I would say his show was bad.
Yeah, but to name a person
Okay,
is
so
not
let's
what you
not
should be doing
name-
on a public platform.
Let's not
Yeah.
name the names. However,
Yeah.
Mr. Oh,
I remember his name.
We all know who you're talking about. I knew exactly
My
who you were
horse
talking
was
about
in the
straight away.
Barclays
No,
advert.
no,
No, it wasn't, because
No, it
we know
wasn't.
the horses that were in the Barclays
It
advert.
wasn't, mate. I know you're not watching this, but it wasn't. Because I called the people that do have the horses in the in the Barclays advert, like, have you ever hired a horse or sold a horse to this dude? And they were like, no, never heard his name. So there you go.
I
I
don't
mean, there's
remember
scandal
his name.
around
Anyway,
it, isn't there?
I do remember
Yeah.
he got punched by security at one of these events.
He did,
Because
yeah.
he jumped a fence.
He did, yes.
After being told not to. That was hilarious.
Yeah,
I think-
there's been a few interesting moments with him in the show as well.
Yeah,
That Thames particularly. There was one at Thames that was quite particularly memorable.
But I was more, to be fair, I wasn't really digging on him too much. I was more digging on
His show. Him as a person, I've got no idea, but I have got an idea.
Yeah, because he's going to play guitar at the bloody beer tent. Enough.
Which was
There's always that guy that plays the
Jonathan.
guitar.
Well, that was really good. That was, I have to say, no. Like, as an objective, as somebody who's worked in the entertainment industry since I was 17, or within entertainment, since I was 17.
Since I was Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Look alike. From Manchester before.
I would actually say that his guitar, because he did a piece in the beer tent one night, didn't he?
Oh my god.
It was really good.
But there's
Way
always that-
better than the actor he was being paid for.
Yeah, but there's also-
Way better.
There is-
About horseboarding.
There is also
Not that we're bitches.
there's also that person that plays the guitar when you don't want them to play guitar, and that was one of those moments.
Well, I was more kind of.
That's somebody who takes
Digging.
Anyway, what we're trying to say is
Just a house
horseboarding.
party.
Just don't-
Just a house
just
party.
don't.
Well, no, what I was saying was
Come back.
quintessential events have reminded me because they had an act that they thought was better than us, which was not.
Standard. That's quite a common occurrence.
Oh well, JCBs at East Anglia, they brought them in, they didn't come back again.
No, I know they
But they did
No,
break.
they
They
will.
did break. They did
They
break
will
the
come
award.
back.
They had
Because you know we were
They
talking about East Anglia actually. When the year that we had all the sand, that we had the big sand pits, that was a really dry year, and JCBs were there.
Yeah.
And the ground was being pummeled
Wow.
by the JCBs, so it didn't go muddy or anything,
But
but they just pummeled it and they made it really sandy.
It also had a sheep track straight across the middle of it at a diagonal
Yes, it
angle.
did.
And it was exactly where there was a massive sand patch. So you had a sand patch, and then also you had this random dip, just like right next to it, just like there. And then the whole lot just turned.
It just broke up, but it was because I mean,
But the
and
edges were
actually,
hard. But that's the thing, the edges were hard.
Yeah,
Because the
and-
ground is always there is so hard, usually. I mean, last time apparently it wasn't. But you used to get to the point where through the course there'd be a sand pit, and people would be trying to take the tightest lines outside or inside
yeah.
to stay on the hard surface. And then after a while they started disappearing. So you ended up with wheel on the hard surface and wheel on the sand, and you were like going like that into a pit of sand. It was bad. That was a really hard race.
But in terms of the video footage and the photography, it was amazing. Because you just literally had board riders with clouds of smoke, and I remember I think that was the year that me and you were commentating, and from the table, and we were using
just getting covered in dust.
Yeah, Tom had set up. We had the live documents, didn't we? So they were filling in the documents in the commentary box, and then we were seeing it on the iPad. And there was a call for a video review on one of the teams, because as they'd gone down that far end of the arena in front of the grandstand, they'd clipped
that was you. That was my team. Sarah called for it, and I went, no, I smashed the cone into a
Well, the thing is, there was a whole cloud of smoke.
Nobody could see it. Like
Sand.
smoke screened.
Yeah, but also we could see from our angle, we could see the cone bouncing across the arena. I was like, I don't think we need a video review on that. Like, it's definitely you smashed it. But anyway, anyway, moving on.
Moving on, right. So, as you'll notice, there's been no continuity break at all.
No. Aiden's just
Where did
Eddie go?
Oh my god, he's disappeared. So we are finally going to talk about where we are after that interesting start to a podcast.
Mr. DFPitt.
Yeah.
I hope you can bloody find them pictures now.
Yeah, please do, because we will show them.
I'm sure that, like Dan said
we've already
ago,
showed-
without the camera, that it was in the paper.
It was.
There's got to be a way of rooting that out.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll find a paper article on it.
Oh no, they are.
I don't even think.
they are.
Mum's probably got a photo of
Mum's
it.
definitely going to have
No,
a photo.
I reckon if you Google DFPitt, that paper article will come up.
It was just about that time, wasn't it?
Tracy's doing it in the background.
It was singularly the most embarrassing.
the country was this?
It made me
Made me-
mad.
Knoll Hill
Knoll
Primary
Hill
School.
Primary
No.
School. What year was it? So it's got to be
2004,
Yeah,
I want to say.
2004, thereabout.
Shocking.
No, I'd have been 14, 2000.
No, okay, but Laura was there, sure.
It was definitely during or post American Adventure.
It'd have been 2001 probably.
Oh my god, it's even worse.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Wow, the fact that now when someone says 20 years ago and you think about the 80s, and actually that was 2004.
Yeah, that was 40 years ago, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right, anyway,
It's not
what I'm
the
saying
one.
is, I'm traumatised by that. I need counselling.
we're actually going to talk
deluded.
about the round we're at. Like,
Why do you want to talk about that? I'm more important.
Okay, so we're at round 3.
Oh yeah, horseboarding.
But yeah, that thing. Burghley House. Known for, I've said this before already, known for its bridge and furrow, so the undulating ground that we've got.
Yep.
Usually a great event, usually great weather.
Well, I would say that when this event is great weather, it's packed. It's one of the busiest events of the year. The very first time that we came here, I'm going back into history again. But the very first time that we came here, I wasn't here because I was in
we
hospital.
had gallbladder issues or something.
Appendix.
Appendix.
I had a ruptured appendix. I was in hospital. But
I remember coming to see you, I just didn't know what the issue was. At the time,
I didn't realise it was our first time here, actually.
that was the very first time here. I called Ken.
Bloody hell.
I called Kenneth Feast from Nottingham Panthers, and the DJ from Nottingham Panthers.
Yeah,
I called, he's a good friend of mine. I called him up and I was like, Ken, you need to go in and you need to try and sort this stuff out. And he came in and he managed and he helped
No,
everybody.
you did exceptionally well. I think we all
We were very
collectively,
early days.
yeah, collectively. I forget now. There was a bit of a obviously freak out that you weren't there, but yeah, I think we held it.
It ran really smooth actually.
But I think everyone was so on it because we were just like, oh my god, like we've never had to do it without you, Dan. So there's only been a few instances on that occasion.
And I think at that time it was as well. Anyway, the point was that on that particular event, you all came back and said it was crazy the amount of people that were there. And I think you've taken photos from the commentary box before here where it's like 6 and 7 deep.
I think, yeah, we used to carry.
Sorry.
We used to carry protected shields around.
Can you just repeat that sentence for me?
What did I say?
So you used to carry protective sheets around.
We used to carry protective sheets around.
Oh my god, Aiden's back!
Beat me up, Scotty. So yeah,
Quite warm in here.
where did we get them from?
But it was Layla's and Chloe's job, the Claylers.
Oh, is this the horse screens?
Yeah. We used to make them.
Carry them
I mean, they were
around.
weighty things.
Well, that was also
we
when you
never
had
used them, thank goodness.
the countryside arena as well. So it used to be.
This was early days, yeah. I think
The one where
walking through-
Dan wasn't here for one of the events.
Yeah, I think this is before your time.
But walking through the crowds, if I can remember, Scott, you had sparkling memories. I haven't thought about it for years. But walking through the crowds with those sheets, yeah, I think it was hectic, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
And the when it is good, it's good. However,
Have you started talking about Burghley yet?
yeah, we're there.
Oh.
We're there.
Just checking.
When you've beamed out for a minute.
Okay.
So tomorrow, it's meant to be thunder and lightning.
Well,
Apparently so.
that sounds like a day in the beer tent.
Yes, it does.
It's quite nice to be in the commentary box.
But
at that
not
point.
in the beer tent.
And we will
here.
start the history of horseboarding.
Yeah. So that's an interesting. Monday's meant to be good, good weather, but we're also down. TNT aren't racing because Indy's
TNT's
lame.
amazing.
Indy's lame.
No, she got
Sandy is ill
Sandy's
and
ill.
not racing
Yeah, I got a
with
message.
just wing it.
I got a message this morning from Annette being, you coming to Burghley?
Oh, so I was the second choice.
I
That
suggested,
bitch.
Actually, I suggested you. I suggested you. She messaged me first because obviously you're going to choose me first. Like, let's be honest. And then I said, well, I think your best bet's Tom.
You
So-
best go Warner.
Yeah,
How about
yeah.
that? You said that.
I'm gonna
I
tell
don't
her.
even think you
I'm
can
going to
do
tell her.
Oh
I'll tell
my
her.
God.
She'll accept that. It's fine. I'm happy to roast Burghley. Like I'm looking.
Second
forward to
choice.
it. Yeah. So, although being their second choice, I'm looking forward to it. I think it will be interesting. She's like.
And you're racing behind Harry as well.
Yes.
Harry's a very different
I mean, the
horse,
only when I because she didn't want to do a practice tonight, and I said, "Well, do you know about the adverse camera?" She went, "Yeah, the adverse camera that's in the same place that it's been every year that we've
for the last 10 years, yeah?
Yeah, I was like, okay, great. So if it goes ahead tomorrow with heavy rain, lightning, and thunder,
I mean, when does it not go ahead?
I can't. It's
It's
sad to
rare.
think that that's going to happen.
It's not a common occurrence.
The thing is, the only time it doesn't go ahead is when it's terrible weather
Unsafe
and there's
horses.
nobody on site and
Is the horse?
and we're going to wreck the field for the following day.
The horses has been one time, like Essex.
Essex was a particular
just
crazy.
about 4 or 5 horses slipped in the exact same place doing the same thing. It was like, well, this is just not safe.
That was a
But that was a
particular.
lot. And I mean, that was on a slow blow.
And it had
And
holes
it had
in
been
the
baked.
floor.
It was like a 10% degree.
Yeah, but it was a clay surface which had been baked for about a month or something by hot sun, and then now it was raining on it, and it made that clay, the top wet, and it was just like a sheen.
It
I was
was
alright.
like
I like
the
wet
salt
sliding.
flat. It was like the salt flats though, because in it there was like just massive holes
Cracks,
that
yeah.
just went to nowhere.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah, Fred had a lot of issues there, I remember that.
Fred had a lot of issues anyway.
Right. I wasn't alluding to that, Tom, but
I think Tom needs.
Your second
I think Tom's been drinking Stella.
Loose lips.
like, Jesus!
Oh, don't talk to me about them. Them, oh, they're terrible. They are. Who are them? They're not even related to what we're talking about, but I fucking hate them as well.
I wasn't Brad Pitt.
It was the Irish temperament coming out of you,
Yeah,
Tom.
I'm just firing
Are you still on your
shots.
first? Is it first still?
Huh?
First of the podcast or second?
Out of the second of the podcast.
Second of the podcast, okay. So we're on that
Yeah.
point now.
Yeah, mate, I don't know where it's come from.
Nice!
But no, Fred did struggle with boarding.
I only said Fred struggled there. I wasn't going to be quite so mean and just say Fred struggled.
Look, I think people that do listen to this like our honesty.
You hope. Sorry, Fred.
I don't think Fred watches this. I don't think Fred will be listening.
No.
He never listened to any of the boarders in the first place.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Right, so we're down.
I said it to his face. I will say it to. I will say
you said it to his face?
I said it to his face, so I'm happy to say it because I've said it square to his face. So
Yeah. If you
if you
one.
started to listen to some of the elite boarders, I think you might do a little bit better. And then he sort of just snubbed me instantly, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
to it.
Well, we do get people sometimes
What
come into
team
the
was
sport
that?
that don't.
Oh God, what's
The
Embassy.
Embassy? Yeah.
There's rules written about them.
Talk about rules. Talk about rules that change in the book. I'm going to stay behind this beer at this point.
Okay, this is wrong.
I might have
So at Burghley,
quite a
so interestingly at Burghley, so we've only got.
Did you eat it on his pill or something? Is somebody
It's that sausage,
Down the
it's that
road.
chili sausage earlier, it's just got to his head. So to go back to what we were talking about, we had TNT outrunning, just when it have got you standing in.
Yeah,
so,
and
so
danger donkeys are out because Jack Bateman broke 2 ribs at the
Bloody
last
hell,
event,
Jack.
and then went home to work at his stables. Got trampled by a horse. The broken rib then pierced his liver.
This is quite expected from Jack, considering have you ever watched any of his crashes ever? Like,
Well, I would like to bring up a
he's
point.
got some of the
But
biggest.
from a man that
flipping
has
crashes,
served time with
like
the army,
flipping
didn't get
crashes.
injured, and then he comes back and gets trampled by a horse the next day.
Horses are more dangerous.
I would like to
Come on,
actually
Jack.
make a serious comment here.
Hope you're okay.
I'd like, yeah,
Get on
absolutely,
with
Jack.
it.
Come on,
Sort
Jack.
yourself out.
Bloody sort out that bloody puncher.
So,
Change that tyre.
Yeah, don't get horses.
I would like to. I observed from what I observed in his previous crash, the crash that caused him the issue. I think we're definitely going to cut to that.
Yeah.
He had a strange rotation around the rope. So like he came round the corner. He was on his toe edge. His heels had raised
jump
just
like I
before.
did over the toe?
He tried.
No. He as the horse was coming across the diagonal, he got flicked off over the toe edge, but he rotated over the rope. So the rope stayed tight as he's being towed, and he went round it like that, and then
That's
hit the
what
floor, let go, and then as he rolls, you see he, from a boarding point of view, is only thinking about his torso and not thinking about the board. So what he needed to do, and you see the final bit, the board, he stops, his torso stops, but the board does another roll.
That's called a scorpion.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's known as a scorpion, and it
Right.
hurts like hell.
Yeah,
No.
or is it the other way around? His board stops and his body rolled. That's it. His board stops and his body rolled. But what he needed to do actually was, and I think now thinking about the other falls where he got the best crash of the year in 2016 and all that sort of thing, is what he needs to do is lock his body out.
He's always
and
linked
and make sure that his body stays in line with his board when he's in that rotational
Yeah,
form.
it's very difficult to do.
Well, that's something I do. I mean, I get low for reasons like on my toe edge, so I don't get thrown back. But when I go into a fall, my tuck and roll, and then I add. So when people say that was a big crash, I went, no, I just added rolls.
You
kept
I
going.
mean, if you want to look at that, you look at Ollie's best crash of the year roll.
Oh, wait, just kept going.
Just kept going. I mean,
well, that was more over the end. He was like,
he did like 6. And then at 4 he could have stopped, but he went, no, keep it going.
He hit the fence pretty hard.
He did hit the fence hard.
It's the guy on the video. You're gonna pull up all sorts of stuff. It's the guy on the
There's a
video
lot
that
of
reaches out and holds, like,
stops
braces the fence as he hits it.
What year was that? Just for
20,
reference.
First year, 2014.
2014. Okay.
And I know that because I've just had all the engravings replaced on there.
10
Best
whole
crash
years
trophy.
ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been all sorted now.
Well, so also
You
Jack's
scratch everyone
board
else's
collapsed.
name out except yours. Yeah.
Send us a photo of that.
Yeah, well, I've got to go pick it up. They've just been doing the engravings for me.
Jack's board collapsed and
His truck broke off.
Yeah.
And he sent me a message. So I had a chat with Jack before that weekend. We were talking because he came over to speak to me and we were chatting away. And he was talking about wanting to beat set of siblings. And I gave him a little bit of advice, which sounds like it worked because they won the first heat.
Yes, they did.
So what I was talking about and what he did exactly what I was talking about, and it worked. And then he sent me a message at the end of the week and being like, "Oh yeah, you may have broken my tropical board and broken a rib, right? But you were winning. How?" And the only time I've ever seen a truck broken off like that is nollie front flips on a mountain board where you under rotate and you smash the back truck into the ground. So he must have put a huge amount of force into the back.
what was interesting is as it was breaking, he was going into these corners, and it was like he was going trying to turn, but all of a sudden the board would go woof, and he was getting these real strong, hard turns. And it's like I was like, whoa, that's something doesn't seem right.
The
And then-
truck's moving, basically.
yeah, the truck was locking into that position. Very interesting, and I did say to him, you might want to speak to Aidan about that because he might want to add that to
I was going to say, I'm not sure I can add another truck. There's quite a few trucks on it, but we can see what we do.
But yeah, we're missing them from this weekend.
They're
very sadly,
they're going to be
guys.
here, but not race.
Oh, that's
He
good.
said he said they're going to try and turn up. But not race.
So I spoke to him on the way up. Did mention that we've got borders, and if Jazz wanted to bring the horse and just race, then
There's a lot
they
of
can.
them,
But also, I understand a new team wanting just to stay with the team, and
For them, it's about just being a team, isn't it? It's not about a championship, really.
And
they are racing for it, but for them,
and
it's their first.
fiancés.
It's a
Do
lot
you know,
of
but you know what I mean?
fun.
They've come in
It's
together as a team
Which it should be.
rather than just two people that are put together. They're doing it for the joy of racing rather than just competitiveness.
Well,
They are also very competitive.
I actually said to him, I said, well, if you need another boarder that will board behind you, to help with Jazz and bring the horse along, then and you don't want a novice boarder, I'm happy to
Hi,
jump
I'm
behind.
Tom. I like pouring myself out.
Well, yeah, but happy to jump behind and do that. And Jack went, I don't think she needs help with that anymore, Tom. I think the horse is fine and she doesn't really care about the border at all anyway because of what's happened to me. So, yeah, I think Jazz and the horse are getting on well. It's Jack's pace at the moment that needs checking.
Well, the thing is, we all know Jack is a good boarder, but anybody who takes a long time off.
Skill fade. We spoke about this at round 2.
It's a big part of
Skill
it.
fade.
It will always happen. Like, especially as Dan, you noticed it. I know you noticed it when I broke my wrist, and you came back for that last competition in Leicester, and it was like you got I can't remember what the time was, but you were like, oh yeah, I can't go any faster than that, and then somebody got like a 4 second bit ahead, and you're like, this whole thing's just progressing. And every year,
absolutely.
So like, if you take a few years out, Jack's taken quite a few years actually.
Well, he's grown up actually,
He's gone from being a lad at the sport,
Well, he was made to do it by his mother.
grown up, and then he's now doing it for his own choosing.
Yeah, exactly.
So much has happened in between that in the progression of the sport itself, and you can't expect to come back in where you finished off. You're behind when you finished off, and the sport has carried on.
You have to remember because he was competitive in the elite.
Yeah,
As
young.
well. Like,
Yeah,
competitive.
very young.
Yeah, young, but like in the elite at that time, he was competitive.
We hadn't seen 30 miles an hour. We hadn't seen 33 miles an hour. We hadn't.
I don't think
we've
Jill
seen
Winston wasn't
29.
even in the season then.
He was mad at us.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's just so much to change before he even come back. it's a huge thing. And then he's also a lot different in his size and shape. So you're talking about somebody who's totally changed. The last time I saw him, I was looking down at him, and then he came to Horseboarding, and I was looking up at him. So like his actual boarding style,
I've always looked.
has had to
Me
evolve.
too.
I mean, you're both very short, so it's fine. But his whole boarding style is having to progress and change with himself being different, and the fact that the racing is now different. So he's got such a hill to climb on the board.
I think it's a shame as well that he's not at this one because of the undulations here and because the ground is
My
usually
favourite.
so good. Yeah, it's amazing.
One of my favourites.
And they've got that little bit more open ground,
They
and
cut
it's
grass
less.
this year as well.
Yeah, I noticed
and
that.
it's less angular. So
Oh mate, honestly,
Yeah, I noticed
like
that.
racing last year, I'm always the first in the practice thing. You go halfway around, you're like, I can't do a weekend of this. It was so bad. The only place they cut was not in the arena.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if it was that. I did notice that
So bad.
the other side of the arena, the other side of the showground hasn't been cut. I noticed that the arena was built before it was cut
Oh really?
because you can see
The edges, yeah.
there's an edge around the arena,
Right.
and it did come part of the discussion about how we were going to do this year with Living Heritage, the same discussion which involved having the trade stand, not having the trade stand, having the bigger commentary box.
That's me emptying Thomas's beer. On that facial.
I mean, it is the beer tent breakdowns. I mean,
the nondescript.
Part of the conversation, in part of the conversation, what I did is,
basically you
I'm
said.
gonna let Marie finish laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna let Marie finish laughing.
Basically, you said I'm not doing a Cheshire again.
No, I
Sort
didn't.
it
That's
out.
not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
Sorry, Dan, what were you saying?
What I did was I spoke to the organizer at Living Heritage and I sent him some videos. I said, this is what we really need. We need the bigger commentary box so we can put a camera on top.
Yeah.
Look at the footage we can get,
Yeah.
and this is a great step for us for what we can develop this footage into.
Yeah.
I also sent him what we were doing with the trade stand, and I sent him the interviews
Yeah.
from Cheshire, where the topic of conversation was
Sort the grass out.
The grass is really
that was
bad.
the big topic
And,
of conversation.
and I also asked, I said, we really, and again, we really need the arena mode because it affects the show so badly. We can't do our best job if we've got big long grass in the arena. It ruins the show.
And it doesn't make it fun for the competitors.
And it's
It
more
makes it-
dangerous.
But
It's more
not-
dangerous.
So it's in every way it's bad. So it's more dangerous for the boarder.
In every way.
No, but it is. It slows down the racing, which means it's a worse show. And if
And it's heavier for the horse
It's
as well.
heavier for the horse.
Yeah.
We broke 4 boards on the first heat. Like
Really? I
I
don't
snapped
remember
a truck. Literally snapped a truck. Like, because if the ground's bad, fine, you can sort of cope with that. If the grass is really long, fine, you can sort of cope with that. But when that's mixed together and it was wet as well, you've got this long grass with these massive holes that you can't see because the grass is so.
Well, you remember Netley Marsh? That's how you scorpion.
Oh yeah, Netley Marsh is
Oh,
similar
yeah.
to that. That's what I mean. And that is the same sort of situation. You can't see, like we couldn't, in the pictures you could see to knee level.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was
Like how are you
crazy.
supposed to see
In
what
fact,
you're
yeah.
racing on?
Photo
Yeah.
comparisons.
Yeah.
And I hadn't, to be honest, and it may well have been, I hadn't really understood the effect that it had on the show. And it might have been because that particular weekend I was ill and wasn't in the commentary box. And Tom and Ross did the commentary box. And it might have been because I was stood outside watching it that I was like, this is
But
not
we
us,
had
this is
rolled
not our
it.
show.
Me and Ryan had rolled it for about an hour and a half before all of that. Like, I went round as the first practice with Charlie, and I genuinely just let go because I couldn't physically get around it anymore because it was just so draggy on the board. And this was a little bit like that last year in the middle of the season because it was quite damp. It rained in one of the heats,
Well, it's everything's, yeah.
and everything was really long.
Yeah.
And so the grass always has been. Look, go back through the
It's always
photos.
thick
Yeah,
grass.
you can always see it. It's not really thick and really problematic, but it is
Last
there.
year was-
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It's always had tufts as well.
Yeah.
So you ride around and you get like you'd be macking out. And you're like, oh, this is great. And you just get a tuft of grass and you're like,
Yeah, 'cause the board suddenly
really
stops.
tests you.
So you go from this roll, and you're happily just locked in your position, the board's going where you want it to go, and then you hit this thing, and it's like somebody's
Drags you
just
backwards.
like you're driving over tar in your car. Like as soon as you hit it, the board just pulls away from you, so all of your weight wants to go over the front, which is the opposite of what you want to do. So it's a big thing about, and it looks thick, but it's nowhere near what it has been.
But it's the ideal course, isn't it? So the consistency with every course that we do, for me this is the computer game coming to life, really. So every event that we have is a different course, and the terrain is slightly different.
And every year the same event is different.
But the consistency is about making it a raceable track.
Yeah.
So with the fact that they cut the grass here, it's going to be decent racing.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
there's like the
nobody
land
wants
is
the same course every time, but everybody wants to. Me and Ross have talked about this a few times. It's a case of you want to show the sport as good as it can be. Obviously, when things get a bit challenging, that's fine and that's okay, and it can change how the racing's going and it makes things interesting. But if all of your races are being made slower because the ground conditions are bad, it removes the whole sport. Really, it just becomes a game of who can get around this course.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's not the point. Like,
From Castle.
And it's the standard that we're trying to push to, isn't it? So by pushing forward and making a point about it, we're trying to make sure that we aren't in control of setting the arenas up.
no, totally.
But we have some influence at this point where we can try and obviously
Which is
make
good.
it into the
It's
better
good.
conditions. And over the years we've learned that obviously like the grass situation, Cheshire, this one, just not fun. Not fun for the bordering dangerous.
But it's interesting.
Bordering dangerous. Great team
Bordering, that's
name.
a good team name,
Yeah.
That's the second time you've done that.
That was good.
Recently, come up with a team name.
It's not been registered yet, so
Bordering
if you're thinking about joining and you don't have a team name, Bordering Dangerous, there it is.
It's quite easy to commentate with as well.
Yeah.
I prefer that. There's a lot of others that are not.
So there's a new team this weekend.
I've heard.
Cone but not forgotten.
But what I've heard is he's got 2 boards and neither of them are appropriate, so he needs to try and mash.
Well, I think you need to go and have a chat.
So
Well, he's got an MBS 4.8,
Who's
I believe.
Yeah,
but
he's
he's
straight
And a
he's
scrub.
racing on skate trucks.
So the scrub
I
has
mean,
got.
I'm not against skate trucks.
Yes, but you are also about 4'2" and about 2 stone.
He's not the tallest of chaps.
2 stone 4.2.
Look,
You know what I mean? He's a leprechaun.
I'm going to point out.
I think that was very racist.
I mean, fine.
I'm offended.
Good.
So Cone but not forgotten.
Yes.
This is chaos. This whole podcast is chaos.
My beer's nearly empty again.
I was about to say mine's
How many
empty.
minutes are we on?
24.
Let's pause there and refill.
So we're having a nice time.
Again, great continuity.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy birthday.
Burley. Cheers.
Yeah.
Happy Burghley. I like that.
Happy bank holiday Burley.
Yeah.
It's way better than horse trials. So
There's a lot more beer.
we were talking about the new team this weekend called Cone but Not Forgotten. Now, they did, as Anne-Marie just mentioned, that they did have a name that was rejected.
What was
and
the
that
name?
and it was Death Cab for Eddie.
Death cab for Eddie.
I think I quite like that.
Well, I didn't have a problem with it initially, and then I thought it was quite, it's quite harsh.
Let's not bring death.
I mean, we've literally got dead pigeons.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but a dead
kind of
pigeon
an
is not the
argument.
same as a dead board rider. You know, like it's.
I didn't think about his name is Eddie.
Yeah.
That did not add up in my head at all. Like, at all. Okay.
So it's a no, and we very rarely say no because we did have Norfolk in good
Yeah, Norfolk.
and good.
Which I don't think they passed
No, we passed.
the regiment of Anita nowadays.
It wouldn't now.
No,
It
I
wouldn't
don't
now.
think he's
I
got
don't think
it.
It was a bit like
It's the fact that it took
There's
you
a
so
couple of
long
names.
for passing wind. Oh my god. They
Passing
were like,
wind.
It's
Took me
like,
so long. Like I just did not get it. I honestly just thought.
There's me with the Eddie bit, but like,
I commentated on them for shows, loads of shows. That's what.
not farting. Not farting. You didn't think, oh, passing wind means
when
farting.
literally their logo looks like a fart.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. So,
Slowest take up of a joke.
but also Anne-Marie
Oh,
nor Anita got chicks with kicks.
No.
Oh no, I instantly went, oh.
Yeah, every bloke went. Oh, I don't know about that.
No, it's fine. The chicks with
I'm
kicks.
pretty sure we had some conversations before the heats in the commentary box, be like, chicks with kicks.
Yeah,
Kicks. Cut.
yeah, chicks with kicks. And I remember because there was a message in the committee group and the blah 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 chicks with kicks. I was like, I'm not sure that's going through. Nisa's like, I've already passed it. What's the problem? Like, but in fairness to the chicks with the kicks,
They meant it very
they meant it extremely innocently.
They like trainers.
As
They were talking about trainers, genuinely talking about trainers.
They had no idea that every bloke heard a completely different thing.
Most.
Okay,
Well, me needs to.
let's do it. Comment
Let's do
below.
What do you think we might be thinking of?
Yeah. What could it cost?
I will add that as a question. What do you think that may be insinuated with the team name
You put
of
it out there.
with kicks?
Put it out there.
Yeah.
You've made
'Cause we don't know.
decision.
None of us
Yeah, we don't know, and because we've never been to Thailand.
Anyway, so
The other name.
Pros are not forgotten. Are they competing this weekend?
Yes.
Have they passed?
Yeah.
So
Who
they've
are
done
they?
their checks.
Who are they?
Who are
Who
they?
are these new
Brother
people?
and sister
Are you a
team,
big
I
brother
believe.
here? Who are they?
15 years ago.
Show me over. Sorry, so they've passed their assessment.
Yeah, they're a brother and sister team, as far as I understand. I've
Okay.
not had much of a conversation with them. Ed has some mountain boarding experience,
So,
but
does he actually have some mountain experience?
Well, I think-
or have you decided he touched a mountain board once? And
well,
said
no,
he's got
well,
experience?
He's
Orin-
Orin-
But Orin had a conversation with me the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, so you surf, don't you?" He's like, "Well, I said to Dan I'd surf, do."
Well,
It's like I've surfed, but that's about it. And like every time I said, and this is a surfer, you can see the surfer lines coming here through as he's pushing. You can definitely tell he's surfed before, like
once.
well, that's someone else. That's someone else who's also surfed.
surf. do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So this mountain boarder. In fairness, I've got to be honest.
It's okay,
In fairness,
he's got-
he came in extremely humble, so he doesn't seem like a mountain boarder
I was
at
going
all.
to say, we haven't told anybody how to ride yet. Mate, every mountain boarder that's come into this sport has told other people how to ride.
I remember that. What was the chap that told?
How dare they tell you?
told Reese that he couldn't board.
Oh yeah.
on the Friday night
in
in the
the
beer
beer
tent. Here.
Yeah.
In fact, so it was Saturday night. It was here.
He was on a no snow, and I met
Yeah.
him once
Who was he?
at a demo before, and I didn't really know who. I didn't know he mountain boarded for a start because he was at this demo.
I don't know. Can you say his name? Can you say his name?
Well, no, you're not supposed to. But I also genuinely don't remember his name.
Jonathan.
But he spent so long telling everybody else how to ride, and then because he wasn't on a no snow, and the way that a no snow worked is you're supposed to be going full speed and just launch into a corner. He just couldn't turn.
Yeah.
So he spent a good.
I don't think he completed a run.
No,
He didn't, and I was in the pit. So when we had the, it was the second arena for the novice and intermediate, and I'd seen him talking to people and just being a bit nonchalant about it, giving advice, and then I can't remember his name.
just some bloke who turned up. He was an old man.
Did he compete?
Yeah, for a weekend.
For one weekend, and then he didn't come back. And he was giving other people advice, and I'd seen him go. He'd gone out twice, crashed, and then he was giving one of the younger teams a bit of advice. And I as a pits manager, you try not to get involved in that shit. But I walked up to him and just went, "How about you complete a run, and then maybe you can talk about it."
The issue was, and this reminds me, I'm gonna arc back to ancient history now, but
DFPitt.
the not that. So I remember Reese. We were all in the beer tent. Everybody's there having drinks and enjoying themselves on the Saturday night before the Monday show. And Reese just came up to me, and Reese was on form. He was such a good board rider. Reese, we'd love to see you again.
The weirdest board.
It was so I couldn't even stand on it. Standing still.
Board setup I've ever stood on.
It was
Like flat tyres and absolutely no compression on any spring whatsoever.
It actually reminded me
Solid.
of. I understood it because I was still racing on skate trucks at that point. And the way that you used to he'd go into a turn is he'd ride kind of flat and just kind of hold the position and then just drop into a corner.
Yeah, planted.
And then just slide, and then just go the other way and slide. So he'd set springs up to do exactly what skate trucks do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember stepping onto it and nearly falling off.
I went to Burghley once, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not riding that. I'm just not riding that. Sorry.
So anyway, Reese comes up to me and he goes, well, I went chatting to the new guy, and apparently I don't know how to ride a board. And I was like, okay, well, let's see how this works tomorrow. And it's a piece of advice for anybody coming in. I know Tom has been rather bitchy this evening.
Honest.
Yeah. But this is a different sport. It's not mountain boarding. So it's not surfing.
I can be as an attest to that for the mountaineering side. So I came into the sport, and from my experience,
started advising everybody.
No, let him talk. Shush.
No, it's not. I'll wait for him to finish berating, and then I'll finish what
he said,
get it out. Let me get it out.
Every boarder that comes in needs to give advice. It started with you, Aidan.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Let Aidan tell this beat, and then I want to tell you another story.
So, as a mountain boarder, my experience of what horseboarding was is we'd only watch the drag. From when I started, you'd only just started doing like the arena boarding, and watching it, nobody knew how to stop. It was all on skate trucks. It was all on wet, horrible ground. So all the videos you saw were just people just going forwards and flopping over. Yeah. And that genuinely was sort of what it was. And nobody taught you how to do any stops because you just learned to go fast on a board. Like that was what totally.
We're racing. What do we need brakes?
That's what I mean. But then when you got into like the arena boarding, things changed. But so as a mountain boarder, in my head when I started, I was like, well, this is a piece of piss. It's fine. I'm going to be able to do this no troubles, because I'd spent 10 years of my life riding a mountain board, and it is a mountain board. We're using a mountain board. So that is almost where the similarities end. Like in your head as a mountain boarder, you go, it's the same sport. But actually, it's very much now like e-boarding. E-boarding is very, very similar because your weight is totally different. So all your weight is on the back foot, and it's controlled by the way that you're accelerating as you go around corners. So, but in your head as a mountain boarder, you're like, well, I can do this, no troubles. I started at Fonmon for a start.
Which was a terrible show.
Oh my god. And I will say this, I got one of the furthest around possible and then knocked myself out because Kirsty went through a gate the wrong way, and I tried to go through the gate because I thought you had to. Knocked myself out and ended up having Ross saying, we're going home now, me thinking we had another heat. And it was sort of like, okay, well this is different. This is different. Okay, it's not what I expected.
I remember that you coming up to me going, "This corner is unrideable," and I went, "There's a bit of good ground there."
Yeah, no, but there's pictures of that weekend where the trucks were just sliding. On the ground.
The arena was so. It was like
we've not raced arena.
No, ever since. And I remember being in the pits trying to find a bit of grass
to start.
Yeah. You're like, okay, just because, and people were, and Hugh was in the commentary box, and I think you were in the commentary box, Marie.
You would have been.
And you were stopping. You were stopping. It got to the point because we completed 1 out of 27 races.
Yeah.
Where you were stopping the timer when the border fell off.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
how far
can you get around? Because it was just insane.
Anyway, with the mountain boarding,
that's paper-based records back then. Paper-based records.
But so as a mountain boarder, you expect to know how to board in horseboarding.
Yeah.
So you come in cocksure, going, oh yeah, I know how to board. I know how to use my board. It's fine. But because the weight difference is so different and the way you ride the board is so different, you can. So there's definitely conversations I've had that have helped horseboarders just with control. And Ryan's is the same.
Yeah.
Like the more you ride your board, the more you understand how the board works. So learning how to
and
go
you
downhill.
need to do downhill. Absolutely.
Totally, because it's a board control thing. Like so, there's things that me and Ryan do through like downhill weaves. Downhill weaves are a perfect example of it because you're not being pulled by the horse at that point. You are under your own steam because the horse hasn't slowed down, and you're having to control the board without. So
and you're trying to scrub off speed, which is what we saw a lot.
You can watch horseboarders, who people who've only come in through horseboarding, and they'll be really, really comfortable on the board. But as soon as the rope gets released, you see this wobble because all of a sudden they're mountain boarding, and that is essentially because you have to change that control.
Right.
But it's a hand-in-hand thing. But the problem is when you come in as a mountain boarder and you know what you're doing as a mountain board, you think, okay, I know how to do this. It's fine. So you will start saying, oh, well, this, that, the other. but it is a different sport. It's a totally different.
The
We absolutely welcome all mountain boarders to come.
Oh, totally.
But
Yeah,
the transition, I will say, is easier for a mountain boarder to come from mountain boarding into horse
Oh yeah.
than it is for a horse boarder to go from horse boarding to mountain boarding.
It's just weight shift.
I did my first jump the other day in Holland. I actually jumped.
In Holland?
Yeah. We had to drive 2 hours. Hang on. We had to drive 2 hours to the only mountain board park in Holland.
Is that the jump I front flipped?
I think so.
Oh, goes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did a jump about
Tom
this big.
Tom did a 4-metre jump.
I did a jump about this big.
That's, I think, was it the first one off the roll in?
Yeah.
Onto
yeah.
the, yeah,
Yeah.
front flip. Yeah.
Oh no, the one with the pump track bit.
Oh, you had the pump track?
Yeah.
That's not a jump. That's a pump track.
No, but it had a bit of a like. Can I did jump? I've got a video and everything. I'm going to show it. It's like I did, like, but that's for me. Like I don't do jumps.
Fair enough.
Like I've never done them,
So
and I've never got on with them.
The biggest difference is your centre of balance. So when you're horseboarding, all of your weight is on your back leg. When you're mountain boarding, essentially all of your weight is on the front leg. Obviously that changes as you're riding and things move, but it tends to be if you're rolling downhill,
You want to be
the only thing is you're going to fall backwards. So you want to be on your front, so you're putting all your weight through your front leg. Like when we teach, we say, imagine there's a 10-pound note under your front foot and you don't want to lose it, so you put all your weight on that front foot.
Okay.
Whereas
that's nice
horseboarding,
tactic.
all your weight is on the back foot.
Imagine it's a £50 note on your back foot.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what it is, because your front foot is hitting all these lumps and bouncing and going over things, but your back foot can just sort of plough through it and just go through it, and that's how your steering comes. Whereas with mountain boarding, a lot of your steering comes from the front. With horseboarding, it comes from the back, and that's where you get those slides.
So when you're mountain boarding, so basically you're going downhill in my mind.
Yeah.
Why is it coming from the front and not the back?
So if you've got a hill like that,
Yeah.
and you've got a board going down,
But
right?
sort of.
So if you lean back, you're closer to the angle of the hill, so
Okay.
you'd fall backwards. But if you lean on that front foot, you're going down with the angle of the hill.
Like dropping into a half pipe on a
Yeah,
skateboard.
same as skateboard.
Okay.
Skateboard
Yeah,
half
yeah,
pipe. You put
yeah,
all that weight on
okay.
that. When you drop in, you put
You
all your weight
put
on that
it
front
forward,
foot because you're wanting to go with the curve.
Yeah, whereas on horseboarding, because you're being
pulled.
towed, yeah.
You're
there's
translating
the weight on the back.
power. So with the horse
You're
boarding,
holding yourself
Yeah, you're
differently.
translating power. So you're trying to not be pulled forward,
It's the Z.
and you're putting all the power that the horse is generating
just
into
before,
the back foot.
Before anybody else claims this, the Z is mine.
Yes, I know.
You are the one that named it. Yes.
We're the ones that came up with it.
You
Definitely
gave-
not you. You never rode in a Z, mate. You rode in a I with an extra bit either side.
I don't know how, mate. I'm sketchy as hell, and I always have been.
No, but you did name it.
So yeah, so it's a Z. So you've got your rope, you've got your arm and your front leg. So your rope comes across the top with your arm and your rope like that. And then your body from your shoulders goes down to your front foot.
Yeah.
So there's the Z, and then your board underneath. And this back leg is a compression. So the more bumpy things get, the further your Z comes down, and the more elongated. It's
So annoyingly, teaching in Holland,
I thought you
they're
said
like,
Z.
"Oh, the Z like Aidan teached," and I was like, "Yes."
Perfect.
They are, you know.
Let's cut to that.
I mean, that is great, isn't it? Honestly, I really appreciate that video. I think it's
You have to
brilliant.
send it to me.
So, in one of the very early competitions, which is where I was going to start from, we had the Scottish down. This was during the drag racing.
Oh Christ! Yeah.
This was one of
Downhillers, if it's Scotland.
No, these were
They weren't.
horse forders, and
Oh.
these were people with horses and some
Scottish accent.
There's people with horses and boarders, not
And then
horse
there was some boarders. There was
No,
some
yeah.
boarders, but one of them was a snowboarder.
Okay.
So the first night, the night behind, this is like one of the very early competitions. Ross and Charlie was there. Carlton was there. It was like
God, that's really
super
early.
early. It was like one of the very first, maybe this very first competition. Anyway, so this dude rocks up, and we're saying to him, "Look, man, you know, horseboarding different. There's certain things you
Closer
should
to
stick to."
snowboarding than mountain
However,
if you're riding powder.
okay, so here we go. So, and all night, this guy was particularly obnoxious.
Oh, we said he was doing assessment.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you going to teach me about about riding a board? I'm a snowboard instructor." Right. And he's giving us all this, and really, like, and he's going from, and people are literally moving from group to group to try and avoid, and he's just coming and he's giving us more
abuse.
Scottish further.
Oh yeah,
He-
absolute twats, all of them.
Truth bomb.
Not all Scottish people.
No,
just these ones.
these
This particular group were not
they were
great.
challenging.
Yeah,
Scottish
so anyway, they were
folk.
coming. This particular person at this particular time was going around telling us all this stuff. Right. So we come to the competition the next day, and this is early days, so we've been drinking all night.
Yeah.
Unlike today. So then we go to we get in the drag race, and his first race is against me, and there's a camera.
This is drag. So this is the thing, right? 'cause
early.
I started in arena boarding.
I can't remember these people. I can't remember that
As soon as you start talking boarding,
Yeah, don't be
my brain goes to courses, not drag.
Yeah, no, this was
Yeah,
drag
because
race.
It's a
it was
really
such a
weird
small period.
Because I only ever did it once.
anyway,
I did it
yeah.
once. Matt Brim was there.
Well,
we did
in
one
fairness,
drag.
I think the last
Yeah.
drag.
No,
I can't
yes,
remember
the
where it
old
was.
East Anglia.
East
Yeah,
Anglia.
old East Anglia.
Was that the last
That's
place
the
it
one I went
was?
to,
yeah.
Where Twink.
Yes.
Jump the fence, yeah.
Jumped the fence, hit a baby.
No, did jump the fence.
It
Did
nearly,
not hit a baby.
nearly hit a baby.
How it jumped
But he
over
did-
the fence
but
into
he
the
did
audience.
just-
And that's when we stopped.
We were like,
Yeah, that was never.
I still think it's a better sport. I think arena
sorry.
boarding is a better
It is
sport.
absolutely massively.
So yeah, right. You were
Without
saying
us.
we've got.
So
this-
anyway, so his first race is against me, and there's a camera just happens to be at the end of the. We're unlikely to find this race,
I'm not going to show it.
No. But there was a camera at the end of the pit, end of the drag strip, watching us both. So we set off, and we're storming.
Right.
Like both horses are absolutely flying. I'm on Rohan. He used to top 30 miles an hour all the time on the drag race, and we're going along, and he's sitting in this powder position with his front leg locked out,
Yeah.
but and kind of. Whereas I'm more in the drag race when you're going really fast. Once you've got that launch, you then want to centre your position and lower your
Well,
position.
that's what I mean.
become-
The drag is a very different sport.
Yeah,
to
You
what we
become
do.
light. We say it to boarders all the time. You become light, but not like.
Yeah.
You have to become light on the board, and
That's what me and Ross
races-
have been talking about on hitting the outside apex of corners.
Yeah.
There's a floating point.
Yeah.
We've
The
almost-
sweet spot, yeah.
The sweet spot, and you sort of found it with now as
I
the
did.
racing has progressed. We've sort of found that point, and that's obviously what you're talking about
Yeah.
with the drag. It's
So-
the point where you become almost light, and you're not towing, you're not being dragged, you're just
No.
floating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally you just make yourself, you literally do that with the board.
Yeah,
you literally shake the board and then
Especially on skate trucks.
Yeah, exactly. On skate trucks, we're doing 30 miles an hour, and you can see from the video that my body's doing this as
Yeah.
I'm going over the bumps, whereas this guy's got his leg locked right out, and then he eventually just goes boom, shoots him off,
Yeah.
slams on the floor, breaks his arm, dislocates his wrist.
Ooh.
This is his first race of the weekend. So I get off my board, walk back down to the pits while he still can't lift his arm off the track, and I went up to the guys. I was like, "Well, my first lesson would have been how to fall."
Well, yeah, don't put your hand out.
I mean,
Don't
I've
be
done
on
that one. Interesting though, actually, me and Ryan were having a conversation with Orin this weekend about the lumps and bumps, and it's that conversation of don't lock out, go with the lumps. And it's all we were talking about. It's almost like a hula. You've got to like let, yeah, but it's be loose and let it go underneath you, but go with it rather than if you try and fight.
His surfing experience will really help him out in that.
Oh, totally. As a surfer.
The time he surfed.
Yeah, totally. But he's quite responsive. I like Oren. I think he's very responsive in conversations.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
So,
them
like-
competing this week.
Yeah, so he's somebody. So I had a conversation with him at the end of Tame, and we were talking about how I can improve and things. He was like, "What can I do to help me improve?" And I said, in all honesty, my opinion of the trucks you're using, they don't work for
He
horseboarding.
instantly went and bought a new set.
And straight away he went off, and I was like, "Well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to drill your board because the board isn't set up for these trucks."
Oh, you'll
He's-
love this.
He's
So
drilled his board.
he
No, I know
drilled
all
his
about
board,
it.
and
No, I was about to say.
Yeah.
His hand, by hand, so because he bought tramper trucks, but he wanted to keep with his MBS wheels, the bearing size on the axle is different for an MBS bearing to a tramper bearing. The tramper bearing is smaller, so if you put MBS wheels on a tramper truck, they don't sit. He has hand machined, but not even machined, just hand filed, I would assume, shims for his wheels to fit onto his trucks because he wanted to practice. And I was like, That's my man.
Aiden's like, yes, mate.
That is my man right there.
Well,
I'm a big fan of that.
I had the conversation with him. He was like, "Will they fit?" And I was like, "No, because the spaces are different."
You can buy them. And I said to him, I was like, "You can buy them." He was like, "Yeah, I wanted to practice."
He was like, "I know.
I'm fine. Do that."
He was like, "I've got a milling machine." And I was like,
No, but he's done it by hand. He said he did it by hand.
Did you do it by hand?
No, I had a conversation because Ryan was like, "Have you got a lathe?" And he was like, "No, I did it by hand." It's like, fair play.
Yeah.
Took me a moment.
And I would say that, you know, Oren's turned up today. He's helped out in the building up in the arena and stuff. And he, interestingly enough, he said it. I've geeked out and I've listened to every podcast. And he's like, I'm learning so much from
and
it.
He's getting some of the jokes we've made now. He's like, I get that joke.
Oh, okay.
Because,
Yeah.
And I think that they literally, from the moment that they walked into the camp, there was just a synergy with who they are.
It reminds me a little bit of is it EDL? No,
EDF.
EDF.
Yeah, okay.
With Patrick.
Yeah,
But I
they
remember
were a
Patrick,
nice. Yeah,
he was really-
they fitted him.
It was a really nice couple of people. They came in, and sometimes you get people that come into the sport and they're like, right, I'm gonna win this. This is what's gonna happen.
This is easy.
This is easy, and then they learn really quickly that it's not. And then some people come into it being like, this is really fun. I really want to
It's more about
learn
fun.
how to do this.
Yeah.
And then they go around and they're like sponges in the pits. Like whenever somebody talks to them about something, and then you go like, oh yeah, well if you sort of take that line, and then you see it in the next sort of heat, and they're like, they've taken it in, and that is, I've really forgotten Frenella's border. Josh is the same. So you can have he wants to learn. When you get these people that come in and they're excited about the sport, they're not just there to win, but they all want to compete, but they want to be the best of the
And
sport.
be competitive.
And listen to the
like,
people.
really
Listen
try
to
and
the
be
people who
competitive.
are doing
You see
33
this-
miles an hour, who are making
well, you
crazy
see this,
turns.
that's the
who
whole
are, you know,
conversation.
Because
And
there is a
George's-
big difference,
in
isn't there, from the
Josh's-
novice inters to elites. There's a
Yeah.
massive difference, and because
totally.
the elites make it look so easy, and that's the problem with you guys, is you look so easy.
Well, that's
but
the
then
comment
when-
I had the whole of last year from Dan. I'm not going to comment about Aiden. He made it look too easy.
No, well, unfortunately, that was the case, mate. I think
we are.
Charlie.
Batteries.
Is it dead or?
No, but it's.
Okay, it's dying, so we're going to wrap up in a minute anyway.
Oh,
We haven't
we'll
talked
talk about
15
you another
minutes.
time, Aiden. In the
Tomorrow,
meantime.
we can talk about it again tomorrow.
Let's
We'll
go.
talk about me tomorrow. So
That one's
Okay,
gone.
okay.
You wrap up.
So Anne-Marie can wrap it up.
From my perspective, I was going to talk about the...
quick.
How much battery?
We're at Burghley. We're having a great time. Thanks very much. This is our first podcast. Thank you.
Cheers.
We're out of here.
Yay.
Whee!